Good morning, everyone. I went to see two movies. So Tuesday and now it's Wednesday. So I guess I'm gonna do movie reviews. Haven't went to see a movie in a while. Took mom and dad to the movies. On Tuesdays because Tuesday's half price at Malco. I don't know if it's half price anywhere else. Okay, the first movie we went to was Gladiator 2, which is a pretty good continuation of the first Gladiator. I'm just kind of like, why did it take like 25 years to make a sequel? And did we really need a sequel? It's more of a more of a nostalgic thing. I mean, they're making remakes and sequels and whatnot of stuff that's 20 to 30 years old, if not older, right? So do we really need sequels? Or are they just trying to get the people who watched it when they were teenagers, young adults, money now that they're grown? Movie is a good action movie. I'm trying not to do any spoilers, but if you've seen the original Gladiator, it pretty much picked off where the original Gladiator with Russell Crowe was, and the current Gladiator happened to be his son. Had the same corrupt style imperial government, emperors, senate, had people from behind the scenes trying to control the empire, had the two twins that controlled the empire that were both a little on the cuckoo side, and one, the younger one, probably was a little on the gay side, or at least they try to portray him as gay in the movie. But it was good. I mean, good sword swinging, fist punching, blood, head got chopped off, arms got chopped off, people got cut, people got stabbed. It's kind of cool how they made the games. Some of the games in the Coliseum, that was neato. They had a literal ship battle in the Coliseum. That was pretty cool. They had the gladiators fight the Roman Praetorian Guard partially in one part of the movie. That was a pretty neat little battle. It was at the end. They had gladiators versus other gladiators. There was some one-on-one combat. There was some multi-on-one combat. We find out that our main character, who hates another one of our main characters, are actually both kind of on the same side, kind of on the good guy side, that wants to overthrow the empire and replace it with a better empire. The general guy, the gladiator that's our main character, and a general that's our main character, they both have the right intentions. One's married to the daughter of, like, the founder of Rome, like one of the great founders of Rome, the great emperor. And the other one is the son from a previous marriage / something of that nature. Anyway, it's got that family aspect in it, and it's got good fighting and stuff like that. It's just like the other one. I think it's not necessarily historically accurate, so to speak, but it does have elements of historical accuracy in it. Like a lot of the characters in it were actual historical characters in the actual Roman Empire at the time, and a lot of the stuff that they were doing in the movie was causing the fall of Rome, which is historically accurate. So I don't expect people to go watch movies about or TV shows about Rome or about gladiators to be necessarily historically accurate. But I do believe that since we know a lot about the Roman Empire and the history of Rome, that I do expect a lot of them to be quasi-historical. So that's a good thing. Okay. So it's a good movie. On one side of the coin, do we need a sequel? Do we really need sequels from movies that are 20 to 30 years old making sequels? It seems like they're just making sequels as a cash grab. On the second side of the coin, flip side of the coin, they did a good job at making a movie, and it's just while it's a nostalgia bit, they had a lot of scenes that showed us, the first movie and stuff like that, so that it could tie into this movie, which was done real well. Sequels should do that if they're going to be sequels that are a long time span apart. They did a good job with the story. They did a good job with the battle scenes, the fighting. It's just a good action, adventure, fantasy, drama type movie. So if you're into that, good. Then the next movie that I went to see, my parents went to see the Christmas pageant show on their own, and then I went to go watch Werewolves. So, Werewolves, it had a good premise or theory about how the wolves came into being, and it did do some interesting things that I have not seen in a werewolf movie before. First, it had a reason for the werewolves, which is some kind of viral infection, I guess. And for some reason, the 1 year a supermoon causes like millions of people to somehow turn into werewolves, because there's something in our genes, our genetic code or something, that for some reason is the moon affected it. Now that's a little sci-fi thing, but it takes away the idea that a werewolf is a supernatural monster creature thing and whatnot. So the scientists are basically trying to find a cure or a temporary cure because this moonlight apparently affects like a lot of people and almost everybody. And you do notice that there are people in the show wearing, they're covered up so they won't see the moon, and they're also wearing like helmets that cover up so they can't look directly into the moon, and thus it prevents them from turning. That's an interesting concept. Another interesting concept that I saw with the werewolf thing is the werewolves themselves seem to be, while they seem to be both wild as wolves, they also seem to still wear the clothing that they transformed from a werewolf into, but also they seem to be kind of smart and intelligent. They don't seem to be just ravenous wolves. They seem to be an interesting thing. They seem to keep their mindset or personality set of the human that converted into the wolf. You have humans. A lot of people are saying it's kind of like the Purge movie. And to a degree, I would have to agree with them from a perspective. Now, there are a little bit of gripes about it. They build this giant world building thing where the whole world does this, and then they basically only show us the scientists working on a cure at their facility where things go wrong. Then they show us a scene where they're trying to get through the city, and they have some werewolves versus some paramilitary civilians, I guess, doing a little fight. And then they also have this big element in the movie where the main character, who isn't one of the scientists, is also trying to protect his family of his brother, who his brother is like was this first responder that fell and died during the first major year ago, like during the supermoon event, and now tonight is a new supermoon event, which is going to cause a bunch of werewolf people. It doesn't dwell too much on the scientific world building that it created, and it dwells more on this one family trying to survive the night being attacked by werewolves, while also dwelling on the main character going to try to save his brother's wife and child for reasons. It could have, it seems like this version deserves the prequel. We need to know what happened on the first one. You know, when nobody was prepared and all of a sudden millions of people all over the world started becoming werewolves. We need to know, we need a movie about that. Matter of fact, we need probably multiple movies about that, because we need to see that movie in various different perspectives. We need to see it in America, we need to see it in Asia, we need to see it in Africa, we need to see it in Europe. We need to see various different perspectives of all over the world of this happening. Then, and maybe perspectives from different major cities and maybe the countryside and different things happening. Well, we need to see that, okay? So maybe we don't just need a movie, maybe we need a werewolves, the series. Seriously, because wouldn't these people be preparing every month when there's a full moon? Why is it just the super moon that turns people into werewolves? That's, I mean, the idea, we have an idea for a TV series here where this happens every month, not just during supermoon events. And we can see, if we had a TV series, we could see it from the perspective of the whole entire planet. And you could have flashbacks like they do in The Walking Dead, you know. They have flashbacks of before the event, during the original breakout event, and different things like that of that nature. So that's really what we need here with this show. Yeah. Or additional movies, prequel. So it looks like they started with the sequel, kind of. You know what I'm saying? So we need a prequel. And it doesn't give us too much perspective of what's going on in the rest of the world or what's going on in the... It seems like this is just a isolated event when we're talking about something that happens all over the world. So yeah, it seems like the wolf, when it takes over, and it seems like the scientists are trying to develop a cure, but the cure doesn't work, and it's a temporary cure, and it's just something you're going to put in your eyeballs so that you can look at the sun at night. When most people are just wearing shields and helmets and whatnot so they don't have to look in the sun. And just basically sunglasses, shades seem to be pretty much filtering out the sun. So why? I mean, it establishes that they're trying to find a cure, which kind of sort of works, but doesn't completely work. But then, if people can avoid... Oh, and they want to call you know how we have sunscreen to help us the sun not hurt us? Well, the silly anti-moon thing that stops people from turning into werewolves. It's corny, but they want to call it moon screen. It's lame. It's a lame name. That seems like that would be the name of the street name of the vaccine or the pill or the drug or whatever. That wouldn't be like the scientific name. Okay? That would be like, take moon screen tonight before the moon so you won't get turned into a werewolf. Only, get your shot. Only $49.95 or whatever. I don't know. Pharmaceutical industry is making it for some reason, probably to sell it. You know they're not making it because they care about a cure. If they wanted to care really about a cure, they would make a cure. What they really want is a temporary cure that just lasts the night. And that way they can sell the vaccine, so to speak, to people. But it goes horribly wrong, as usual in movies like this. it works, but it doesn't work. I mean, it works, but it only works a limited amount of time, like a couple hours or something. So it seems like the people wearing the like basic like helmets that you'd wear like for paintball and motorcycle helmets and stuff of that nature seem to be doing just fine. So again, why create something that only lasts 3 hours when you can buy a helmet that does the same job? I know maybe they just are working on a cure, and this is just like, well, we developed this and we got it to work this long. But unless they can make it last, I don't know, like the whole night, the pharmaceutical industry is competing with motorcycle helmets. Yeah. You got something that already exists that people can use versus a thing, basically an eye drop that you're going to stick in your eyes that will protect you for the whole night. And it doesn't seem like this is a very useful eye drop unless they fix it where it lasts the whole night, like the whole night. And then they not only fix it to last the whole night, but if these people aren't like changing every month on the moon cycle, then and they only change during the supermoon thing, then it doesn't seem like that's the best thing to do. I mean, I get that if the majority of the people on the planet are affected, and if you get everybody to buy your eye drops, you're going to be like literally filthy rich from the eye drops thing. But again, people could just buy or find like helmets and stay covered. So again, why? I mean, seriously, why? You got this world building in the movie, but but then you kind of contradict yourself with some of the stuff that you do in the movie. I mean, yeah, helmets could fall off, helmets could break or whatever, so you got idea of additional protection maybe. But again, it's a good movie if you want straight up action movie. You got people with guns trying to shoot and kill werewolves. You got werewolves going around slashing people up, and they're smart werewolves, and the werewolves, they basically they keep the personality and intelligence of the person who they were to a degree, which is kind of a neat premise. It's also kind of a neat premise that for some reason there's something in our genetics that somehow for some reason makes the moon affect us in a way, and it came eventually to somehow a supermoon converts like a third of the world or something. I don't know how much of the world. It converts a lot of people in the world into, even if it's only 10% of the world or something, into werewolves unexpectedly. But like I said, gives us great world building, but then it contradicts its world building some, and then it also doesn't show us. We're jumping into year 2 of this Supermoon 2, and we're not necessarily. We don't get to see what happened in year 1, and we're also not. We don't get to. We also don't actually get to see. We don't get to see how the government and of the world and different worlds and the pharmaceutical companies and everybody, how they came together after the first event to try to come up with solutions to prepare for the next event. And again, like I said, why is it only the supermoon doing this? You would think this would be a 3, and again, this would, since a full moon, stays in for 3 days, you would think this movie would have been a 3-day event movie, not a 1-night event movie. That, just saying. And then, of course, we would have 3 nights of chaos like The Purge every month, because I don't see why just a supermoon would do it. I mean, if the moon is somehow triggering humans to turn into werewolves, then I would think that this would be happening every lunar cycle. And it would be a 3-day event, and it would be happening continuously. That's why I'm saying you got the idea for a TV show here. How do people deal with a world where every 28 days, for 3 whole days, not the daytime hours, but the nighttime hours, and of course, you got to deal with the idea that the moon is literally moving around the planet in a 24-hour cycle, right? So every hour on the hour, it's in a different time zone, pretty much. It's kind of how the time zones work, right? So based on the parallel of the planet, the moon's effect will end here, but it will still be affecting this time. So you got 12 hours of the day, roughly, give or take, where half the world at any given time is being affected by the werewolf virus mutation thing. And so many questions are you how do you deal with these people that turn into werewolves after the fact? Okay, now it's sun. Now the sun's out. The people that turned into werewolves, are they personally responsible for the damage they did as a werewolf? Or are you going to claim that they were not mentally stable? But we know that from the movie that these werewolves keep their identity, they keep their brains, they keep their smarts, they keep their personalities of who they were as a human. So does that mean that they are financially and legally responsible for any damages and or murders they committed while as a werewolf? These are good questions to ponder upon. How would a world live in a universe, or how would the society run in a world where every 28 days certain amount of population become werewolves, and anybody, of course, that was attacked and survived the night would also turn into a werewolf? Like, if you got scratched or bitten or whatever, you somehow got the virus transmitted to you. How do you deal with that? See, if that was the case, and that was what was happening, it would make more sense for the pharmaceutical company to be trying to find a virus or a vaccine or something that will keep you clean for the whole night, because they can sell three doses, because 3 nights of the moon for. See, premise is good, but not enough world building. Too much. You got to think about this. This is a show that should be a TV show, just not a movie. This is like a movie pilot. The movie is like a pilot to a television show, but it's not even like a pilot. It's like maybe one episode of the TV show, of what the TV show should be, but it's not even really a good pilot. It's like maybe a good first episode for one of the seasons, or a mid episode, especially the way that the Dega movie ends. It has like basically a cliffhanger ending where we learn nothing. We know nothing. Nothing changes. What's going to happen tomorrow? This is seriously. You know, but if you're into like The Purge, and you're into like action movies, you're into like werewolf type movies, and you're into like guys with guns and stuff like that type movies, go watch it. It's a good movie. Just like if you're into action movies and sword and sorcery and Roman and medieval type movies, go watch The Gladiator. I recommend you watch them if you're into those kind of movies. Anyway, that's my movie reviews. Remember, God is good all the time. All the time, God is good. Keep on gaming. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Jesus loves, Jesus God, Jesus Lord, Jesus King. Jesus is ruler of everything. And have a great, wonderful day. And I think I'm going to just end that with here. Werewolves is good, but it would work so much better as a RPG or a video game or a TV series. Gladiator 2 is great. Again, you probably, but do we really need sequels of movies that are 20 to 30 years old, and now we're coming up with sequels just to cash grab on the money? Yes, it's cash grabbing, and yes, some of it can be done better or easier, but we don't need to wait that long to get a sequel. If they haven't made a sequel in a year, do they really need to make a sequel? Just saying. No, they probably don't. Anyway, have a great day. Later. Yeah. A lot of these things, I think, are just nostalgia. They're just trying to bring back nostalgia or franchises to get the next generation's money, and to get us to bring our children or whatever to the movies or whatever. Don't get me wrong, some of the sequels they make are good, some are bad. It just depends on, you know, am I going to go watch movies? As long as they're half price on Tuesday and they don't go up to ridiculous prices, I'll probably keep going watch movies and keep doing movie reviews. Anyway, have a great day. Hope you enjoyed the video. Later.